And we knew what we were heading for. We knew what we were heading for. We knew who was going to be benefiting, who wasn't going to be benefiting. We have now, after 4 years of war and tax cuts, we have Bechtel, like with billions and billions of dollars of profits. We have our oil companies showing billions and billions of dollars of profits. We have all of this, and if you're not taking a side against that, you're with them. And so we're saying, stop the war now. Let's bring back the taxation that we need to have on our most wealthy corporations. Let's bring it home. Let's have money for peace across the whole world. Let's have more money for housing. I'm part of the People's Budget. The People's Budget had a press conference yesterday in San Francisco. There were about 175 people that were there. We're talking about all the domestic programs that have been cut because of cruel and vicious Republican spending, but also because Congress and the Democrats are not being strong enough to protect the services that we most care about here in San Francisco. We have huge cuts to our HIV funding that need to get replaced here at the local level, because if the federal government's not going to do it, we need to do it here. So we need money for peace, we need money for health care, we need money for housing, we need money to support all the poverty that's created because of capitalism. So I hope you're with us. Thank you very much. I want to introduce Jazzy Collins, who's here. We'll have a few words as well. Thanks, Jazzy.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful day in San Francisco. I'd like to thank my sisters of Code Pink, and we stand in solidarity with you. For members of the press, I spell my name J-A-Z-Z-I-E, Collins, C-O-L-L-I-N-S. And yes, I am an adorable, beautiful transgender female. I want to talk about the war at home here. When we spend additional $5 billion on a war, then we're cutting off funding for programs here at home. Weapons of mass destruction is not in Iraq, Iran, Korea, or China. Weapons of mass destruction are on our streets. They're called Smith & Wesson Limited. Yes, Coke 45, and no, I'm not talking about the malt liquor either. These are the weapons of mass destruction that we need to be cleaning up off our streets. Not going to some foreign country to fight and kill women and children that has did nothing to this country. That's $5 billion we can have for our HIV housing, for those having struggle of finding affordable housing. For, yes, our fire department, to put out fires in our cities. For our local law enforcement that's taking a cutback in funds because there's not enough funding to help our local law enforcement out on the fight the war on crime here in our city. These are fundings that we need, and not for that money to go over to contract defense contractors, like in Livermore, where they're building right now an atomic bomb over there, and they just built last year what was considered as a smart bomb. I don't know about you, but I don't know how smart a bomb can be, especially when it's built by a man. So how smart is that? It's time for Representative Polosi and her colleagues to say, no, we're not going to fund this unjust, racist corporate war anymore. We're going to fund the people of the United States and help them get out of poverty. We have a big poverty level right here in our country. But where that money going to is going overseas, saying, we're defending our terrorists. No, we're not defending terrorists. What we're doing, we're supporting poverty. We're allowing poverty pimps and the corporations continue to do poverty and keep their own American people in poverty. That's what we're defending. That's not the war we need to be fighting. The war we need to be fighting right here in the home front. And that war, if it takes all of this, day after day, week after week, month after month, Congress is going to get the message. And Nancy Pelosi, listen and listen closer. We're not playing around here. We are serious. This is our money, and this is why we want it to be spent. This country made a statement last year when they said we wanted to change. But apparently, Congress didn't hear that change. They came up with a backdoor way to continue to fund the war and said, well, if President Bush vetoed the measure, we just come up with another measure to give him the proper funding that he needs. Cut off the funding and we can end the war. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jazzy Collins. Now I'm very proud to introduce a woman who had the guts, the gall, and the greenness to run against the incumbent Nancy Pelosi. My very good friend, Chrissy Kiefer.
Well, thank you. As much as I'd like to do a moment of silence for the troops and a moment of silence for for democracy and a moment of silence for the Iraqi people. I'd also like to do a moment of kind of heartbreak and silence for the North American left, because I feel like we are at a crossroads right now, because we have done our efforts over the last 4 years. We actually had a real moment of triumph and truth when we shut San Francisco down 4 years ago. It was all of us together, old people, young people, gay and straight, kids, baby boomers. People stood in front of the federal building and got arrested. We sat down in the streets. We threw the cops for a loop for 12, 15 hours. We said absolute no to the war, and then the war started anyway, and then I actually don't know what happened. Really, what happened? Because here we are today, and I have to say my heart is broken, because we know that they're going to keep going with this war. All the efforts that we've made, some of us have been at all the demonstrations, we've been sitting in front of Pelosi's house, Code Pink's been all over the country, and even though we've made this, some of us have made enormous efforts, enough of us have not made an enormous effort. And I was at this event with Helen Thomas like 3 months ago, and she said she had never seen the North Americans in such a coma. And I think it's really important that we go deep inside ourselves and figure out how to get over our petty bullshit among our different organizations and group inside this city, which is one of the most progressive cities in the country, that Ross really talked about it yesterday. It's time that we banded together and, as Denise said, got more militant. We need to get more militant, take some risks, or we are going to be those Marin hot tubbers that George Bush talked about. We are actually, at this point, I think we are a culture of going out for dinner. And I think it's really time that we put ourselves a little bit farther on the line, because, you know, just a reminder, a heartbreaking reminder of what this war has done. 4 years ago, we illegally invaded and occupied Iraq. Then we destroyed its central government, creating the grounds for civil war. We've killed over 500,000 civilians, and Amy Goodman said actually the report is now 1 million civilians in Iraq have died. We created torture prisons to control their population. We bombed innocent children with white phosphorus in Fallujah. We destroyed the economy, the electricity, the water system. We killed over 35 American soldiers, and we maimed for life thousands and thousands of Americans and Iraqis. We destroyed their libraries, their hospitals, their museums. We've caused over 1 million people to become refugees, and then we hunted down their president and lynched him on international television so the whole world could actually see how barbaric the United States of America really is. So I ask all of you out there, and Nancy Pelosi, what part of that represents anything about who we are? And I personally, I'm completely and utterly stymied about how to move forward at this point, because I do believe, as Ross says, we are going to be bombing Iran, and we don't have a movement to get in between us and that. So I really want to, I don't know what to do, but I really think we have to start, thinking about it and go deeper into whatever our own psychologies are in the whole movement, and to, hold Nancy Pelosi to the line. This phony rigmarole about supporting the troops is completely and utterly Orwellian dribble. We know at this point that the money is absolutely not going to the troops. In fact, probably not even 20 million out of the billions have gone directly to the troops, and nothing proves that more than this catastrophe at Walter Reed. And now they're sending back people for the second and third time who are completely emotionally unstable. Kids are committing suicide all over this country when they get back because there's no thing. So I think it's absolutely criminal, and there should be a civil suit against Pelosi every time she opens her mouth and she says, I'm giving this money because it's supporting the troops, because it absolutely is not supporting the troops. So, there's all of these things that I'm saying, and coupled with that is, we better wake up and smell what's left of the coffee because of the complete and utter erosion of our Constitution. So pretty soon we're not even going to be allowed to demonstrate. Again, we have this opportunity to be able to demonstrate, pretty much do what we want at this point. For some of us, we should seize that opportunity whenever we can, and, try to get, I don't even know the solution. I don't know the solutions, actually. Yeah, but I guess Denise is right. So, anyway, let's try to, revamp this movement, keep going, not get demoralized, and be thankful that we do have some progressive elected officials. They are really the backbone of our city, and we're grateful that they exist. Thanks.